Swalwell, representative from California. I'm not a fan. All right. Having to hear him talk at these hearings is so frustrating. I would much rather just skip it, but I gotta hear him, especially because he's talking to Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro, he's got to be top 3 debaters of all time. Let's be honest. All right. Swalwell is not it. He's not even close. Not even in the same state. Okay. And the truth is Swalwell, my personal opinion, I mean, he's rich. He's the man in that regard. I wouldn't rock with him. And that's the truth. Okay. I would not in my life have a drink. Okay. We need this. That's it. And that's okay. Because that's America. We're allowed to. No harm, no nothing, but I ain't. Nope. I ain't got nothing. Nope. Right on by. And that's okay. It's fine. But let's listen to him talk.
Mr. Swalwell. Thank you. Mr. Shapiro, thank you for joining us today. I think it is important that you're here as one of the leading conservative voices in the country. And the country has, in the last couple of weeks, talked a lot about and Googled Project 2025. It's one of the most Googled search terms right now. And you're not going to get any censorship from me. So I just wanted to know, from your perspective, I think it would help us understand on just like a scale of 0 to 100%, how much do you support Project 2025?
I think, like President Trump, I haven't looked all that deeply at Project 2025, but it seems that Democrats on this committee, sort of like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, if they say Project 2025 enough, their presidential candidate becomes alive again.
And so,
I love him.
Well, let's just talk about pieces of it. And you can tell me if you support it. You probably want less bureaucracy, right?
He messed up right there. Okay. He is, remember what I said? I'm not going to pause it again, but you remember what I said? He is not like him. He cannot, it's a joke. Okay. He's too far down. Swalwell, look at him already, and he's always backhanded comments.
Right.
I do.
I want less bureaucracy. You want more efficiency.
I do.
I want more efficiency. You want taxpayer money spent wisely.
I do. Congrats on becoming a Republican.
My parents would be proud. Mass deportations, it calls for that.
Why is everybody's parents Republican?
I support the deportation of any illegal immigrant who is in the United States who is not of benefit to the generalized American public.
So if they're picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they're making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure them?
The same way that the IRS measures my income every year. It seems like the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted. And so they can do it hundreds of millions of other Americans. They can do that for illegal immigrants as well, except for the fact that no one knows how many are in the country thanks to this administration.
So you would be cool with creating a system where they could pay those taxes if they wanted to, and then stay and work and put food on our table?
It depends on how long it would take for them to pay the taxes, and they would also have to go presumably to the back of the line, although I'm not sure why I'm testifying about immigration policy at this point.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state-by-state issue on a personal level. I'm
just asking you.
Sure. I'm a fully pro-life person, which means that I'm not in favor of the distribution of the abortion pill.
Banning same-sex marriage. What about that part?
I am in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I'm perfectly fine with anyone.
Before he even answers, I know I said I wasn't going to stop it, but it has to be said. I am for same-sex marriage. Okay? Do you? That's just my personal opinion. He is not. And in America, you are allowed to not have the same opinion. Okay? It's not illegal. The fact that someone else doesn't agree with my point of view means we are in freedom. So it's unfortunate that sometimes in life, you don't get what you want. Okay? But because you don't get what you want, you don't start making up baloney. Oh my gosh, now I went. Oh.
if they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they're making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure them?
The same way that the IRS measures my income every year. It seems like if the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted, and
So
they can
they
do
were
so for
willing to
hundreds
pay.
of millions of other Americans, they can do that for illegal immigrants as well, except for the fact that no one knows how many are in the country thanks to this administration.
So you would be cool with creating a system where they could pay those taxes if they wanted to, and then stay and work and put food on our table.
It depends on how long it would take for them to pay the taxes, and they would also have to go presumably to the back of the line, although I'm not sure why I'm testifying about immigration policy at this point.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state by state issue on a personal level. I'm
just asking you.
Sure. I'm a fully pro-life person, which means that I'm not in favor of the distribution of the abortion pill.
Banning same-sex marriage. What about that part?
I'm in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I'm perfectly fine with anyone having any sort of voluntary sexual arrangement they seek. That's a different thing from whether the government should attach benefits to that personal relationship.
But you think it's a sin to have same-sex marriage?
I mean, I'm confused. Are you asking me as a religious Jew what I think about biblically?
I'm just asking, is it a sin to be gay?
Is it a sin to be gay? I mean, how long do we have here? 2 minutes? I mean, if the basic idea is that sexual orientation is up for government regulation, I'm not in favor of the government regulating the private consenting sexual activity of adults. That is a different thing, once again, whether the government ought to engage in actual benefits for particular sexual arrangements that adults make.
But again, just you to me, is it a sin or not?
From a religious Jewish perspective, orientation is not a sin, but activity is. That's also the same perspective of most major religions, so far as I'm aware.
And how about
This guy's questions are
cutting Social Security? Do you support that part of 2025?
I'm not sure what Project 2025's position on Social Security is. I'm in favor of the restructuring of Social Security along the lines of privatization and lowering and increasing the retirement age, because you, as well as every other congressperson, knows Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and yet everyone seems to have an interest in lying about it for the next decade and a half until we have to take austerity measures or radically increase inflation or taxes.
And bans against books about slavery. Do you support that part?
This dude is
Why would I
gaslighting.
possibly be in favor of
That's
bans
it.
about books about slavery? That would be
Yes.
absolutely ridiculous. What I am in favor of is the idea that school libraries should be able to make decisions along the lines of what exactly is appropriate for, say, a seventh grader and whether they ought to be treated to cartoons and genderqueer. That's not quite the same thing.
And just, we found some receipts. You did say, I think sexual activity is a sin.
Yes, I'm a religious Jew.
Sure, there's a genetic component.
You found me out.
Orientation. The view of all religious people,
You
it's
are
always been
not
that sexual
it.
behavior is something that is up to you. And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your, I'm sure it's very hard to restrain yourself. Mr. Chairman, I just want to shift to Alvin Bragg. He was supposed to be here this week, and he's not coming. And Hunter Biden was supposed to testify. Now he's not testifying. We were supposed to have votes on articles of impeachment, and we didn't. And again, we're just wondering, you guys write great press releases, but the payoff seems to never come. And so I guess we will keep waiting, and we'll do hearings like this. And finally, Chairman, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater, and that's a restriction on speech, as you have recognized before. But you can yell theater in a crowded fire, and you all can continue to do that all you want, and we'll just waste the American people's time.
Gentleman's time has expired, and I remind him of the first rule of holes. When you're in one, stop digging.
Did you stop digging the holes for him? That's all. Look, we elected him in California. I would never. But in California, you got to deal with it. And yo, why are we asking someone from California any questions about it? Do you see the state of California? Google it, YouTube it. They're doing drugs, bent over. Okay, kids walk by. They say, supposed to say kids walking, and they're supposed to stop. This is real. Okay, bent over. They keep going. Okay, right across the street from police station, right across the street from school. What? Why are we even asking him a question? Ask my question. What is